What's happening, man? How we doing? How's the morning starting?
I'm trying to go landscape. All you can see.
You're doing a good job.
What's up, boys?
You're doing a good job. I saw you in the comments, Dom, and I was like, maybe he's taking his morning. I always appreciate when you do. It's all happening. David, thank you so much. I definitely think that rock is definitely good. I feel like whenever I'm doing content, I always end up thinking that rock is really kind of what I really enjoy, and it has been, so it's been good. Whew. Sleep. How was sleep last night?
Sleep wasn't too good.
What was the question?
I think our kids are getting sick. So Amy was bouncing around back and forth from kid to kid and kept startling me a little bit. So I don't think good sleep was had.
Oh man, it's usually pretty good. Dom is usually our good sleeper of the group. Blaze, how about you? How was your sleep last night?
It was good. I started drinking chamomile tea again, so fell asleep well. I was supposed to go to Orange Theory at 5 a.m. I did not go, and I didn't cancel in time. I'm gonna try and go at 4 o'clock. No, I'm not gonna go. I'm not going today. That's fine. But yeah, sometimes you need to sleep in. You gotta sleep in sometimes.
I wish you the ability to go at 4 p.m. today. I know how much it's been making you feel good to go. So I'm wishing you that good feeling and hoping that you kind of find that time. That's what I would say. I wish that's happening. All right, guys, what we got for gratitude? Can I start with gratitude right now?
Do it.
I want to hear about the princesses.
Hear about the what?
Ninja princesses.
Oh, Ninja princesses. Well, first of all, this is my gratitude. I want to just give you guys gratitude, not to blow smoke up your ass, because I think it can sound that way sometimes. But I was thinking recently about how men are connecting with each other, and I think that you both are really incredible at reaching out to someone just to have that conversation. I think some people kind of build it up to be something that needs to be so formal, or something has to be scheduled or planned. But Blaze recently was like, "Hey, I hopped on the phone with so and so." And we just talked for 30 minutes. And I was just like, you know what? That's how it needs to get done. And I think so many people can really feel alone, especially men. And so I think it's great that you guys really set the precedent for that. Dom, I know we talked a little bit about this previously, but I think it's so incredibly amazing you guys do that. And I look up to you so much for being those kind of guys. So thank you for being you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy.
I'm trying to make a conscious effort to reach out to people more. And I just have such great relationships, and I want to make sure that I'm growing those and taking advantage of all these awesome people that I know through all the different things that we do.
That's awesome, man. Is that your gratitude, or we got something else?
So I'm the playdate guy, where I'm trying to do all the playdates with my kids so they have friends growing up. And so we had a new play date yesterday, and Brody, like any 3-year-old, complained the whole time and said he didn't want a specific friend to come over after he said he didn't want him to come over, but I wasn't going to cancel on it. But regardless if he had a good time or not, I don't care. The kid came over, they did parallel play, they played a little bit, it was great. But I'm talking to the dad, and whenever you meet another parent, you're like, are we going to vibe? Are we going to be friends? And so me and the dad were talking, and he's like, I don't know how it came up, but he's like, oh yeah, I used to work at a comic book store. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. And then we
done. Fast friends, ready to go.
That was fun. And now I'm going to join it. And he was telling me about his D&D group and all his tabletop board games, and we're going to hang out. So
that's awesome, man. I'm so glad. I was talking recently about I think yesterday I was talking about this with needing to feel as if you have to be friends with your kids' parents, with your kids' friends' parents. And sometimes it can be, I know for me, it's kind of a lot. I'm pushing the vibe, not pushing the vibe. And I think sometimes my brain either goes with all in, all out. And so I feel like Blaze is definitely good at that. Good stuff. And wait, hold on. Did you guys connect over comics? I know that's your wheelhouse. Was there anything else was there something surprising that you guys talked about?
I wouldn't say anything surprising, but like I showed him my collection. I gave him a couple of books to read, and he's like, well, now I got to give you some books to read. And that's always like, the exchanging of books is, I don't know if people are going to be doing that in 50 years.
Well, nice. You did a great job. Great job making new friends. Always connected. Dom, what's going on? Where's your gratitude? You had a Halloween party this weekend. Your wife did all these amazing things. I saw charcuterie. I saw balloons down the stairs. My goodness.
Yep. Friday was good. Friday was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, Saturday was hungover.
Huh.
Her more than me, but still feeling it. And unfortunately, when you're hungover, you still have 3 kids. They don't go away when you're hungover. It's really weird. So yeah, parenting Saturday was rough for the both of us. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten into this. I'm sure everyone has, but it's like when you're not feeling well or you feel like you just need like a lazy day in, like the kids are all for it, but then at the same time, they still have all this pent up energy. Like you need to run them around, but like you don't want to go outside, like you're stuck in this place where you need to take them to a park, but you're like, I don't want to go to a park.
Yeah.
So Saturday was definitely rough. And then Sunday was a little rough. I was feeling a lot better, so made breakfast, did my laundry for the week, and then did end up taking Bentley to the park, ran him around a little bit. Got him a popsicle afterwards, and then he came home and he still hit me with the like, you didn't take me to Target to get a stuffed animal. And I'm like, dude, we talked about this. Like, so, yeah, it was a long weekend.
Oh man. Did you guys go to Target or you didn't go to Target?
No.
Good for you.
Christmas is coming up, man. Like I'm trying to tell all these kids that like they got to stop, like this is the time when you make a list for Christmas or something like that. Like, I don't know. My kids seem to just like 24/7 want something, and it does tend to rub me the wrong way. So yeah, this weekend I did get a lot of that going on, and was repeating myself quite often saying, look, now's not the time. Like, Christmas will be here soon. Just calm down.
We were talking about, I know we were texting yesterday talking about the $5 rule. And I think I've talked about this before, but my other power move is going to Walmart and forgetting my wallet, because then it's like, sorry guys, like Walmart doesn't take Apple Pay, but then we'll go around and we'll take pictures with all the toys or clothes that they want. And like, okay, I have these now. I can send it to Santa and I'll send it to Grandma and Grandpa too. Yeah. But you can only pull that one out like once every couple of months.
It's a good one though. I feel like that's the necessary one. It reminds me of, I recently saw, have you guys ever heard of the Switch Witch on Halloween?
Is this like some ice cream sandwich thing that doesn't exist?
It is exactly that. No, you know what it is? Someone was talking about like how to still go trick-or-treating, but not like have your kids like with like a mound of candy after. So like when you go trick-or-treating, like still go trick-or-treating, let them collect all the candy whatsoever. And then when you get home, they get to select like a few bits of candy and like keep it around. And then the rest of their candy gets put in like a little basket or something. You put it outside your front door. And then overnight, the Switch Witch comes and takes away the excess candy and then puts a gift there instead. So then it's like less candy and it's more of like a gift. I thought it was interesting. I don't know how I feel about it yet, if I really think that it's a good one or not. But that's just thought. Because like I don't want my kids, like I just think it's weird that our kids think that like a big bunny or like Santa come into the house and then all of a sudden there's like, okay, then the witch is coming now too. Come on, Dad, calm down. So never know. But I thought it was an interesting idea.
Bryson went to a trunk or treat on Saturday and he only likes Reese's. So I thought he would go up to these cars and be like, do you have any Reese's? Oh no, we have like M&Ms. That's not going to work. And he just walked to the next car. And I think it's just like, I can just imagine like being that person, like, well, my candy's good, like it's okay. But I thought that was funny.
That was good. If I could just hop over to the chat, to the couch really quickly, just want to give a little bit of voice.
I have to go teach, but love you guys and have the best day.
All right, man. Take care.
See you, buddy.
We got gratitude over here from David. But daughters sharing their playlist this weekend. That's so fun. With like remotely, you're seeing kind of what they're listening to. They're sharing kind of their life with you through music. It's pretty cool. I like that. So that's pretty cool. Love it. We had vows a year ago, 7 years ago, from over here with MP. Love to see that. Brofit, did you drop the gratitude, or you just know that you're hiking this morning? He's hiking this morning, so that sounds like it's going to be a good time. All right, guys, awesome. And if we got everyone over on Instagram, we got people over on Facebook, we got people over on X. If you can drop a follow over on X, please do that. But thanks so much for checking in, guys. We appreciate you. We got Robbie over here. Robbie's bounced back and forth between IG and also Twitch over here. So good to see you, buddy. I'm trying to check in more over on Instagram because I was getting feedback that it's been helpful and good for some people. So I keep going back and forth there. All right, Dom,
Nice.
What we got for today? Today's October 28th. You can survive anything.
I can. Yeah, for sure, man. We
I
can.
feel you can.
Everybody can.
I think you can. I think you can. Today,
I mean,
when we're talking about Ryan Holiday's The Daily Dad, right? So we can survive anything, and I think it's just letting us know as parents that we're doing such a good job, despite what we kind of think. And it uses an example of COVID and kind of overcoming that while parenting at the same time. I cut you off, Dom.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like, yeah, it's definitely an easy one to vibe with or hit with because we can. I mean, you got Brofit out there. I mean, he lives in Arizona. If you can survive living in Arizona, you can survive anything, especially year round.
Why is it that super hot? Is that what it is?
It's just like, yeah, it's death. I mean, like it's so
hold on. How different is Southern California versus Arizona? Is there a big difference?
Like, here's the easiest way I always say it is like my entire family lives in Arizona, and I could buy a bigger house for half the cost, but I would have never in my mind ever thought I would ever move there because the weather, it's just so horrible.
Crazy, huh?
But yeah, it's very different than California, especially Southern California, especially like a little closer to the coast. Just that ocean breeze just comes in and it just takes over and it just instantly cools it like 20, 30 degrees or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, you could survive anything. I mean, we're all parents. We all go through a lot of stuff. Like I said, this weekend, sometimes it just feels like you can't do enough for them when they're constantly saying they want stuff and you have like a overflowing house with overflowing shelves. Like my kid asked me for stuffed animal. That's what he wanted to go to Target for, was a stuffed animal. And I'm like, dude, you have so many stuffed animals. And he's like, yeah, but I don't like any of them. And I'm like half of these were like hand selected. Like you wanted like dinosaurs when you were in love with dinosaurs, so we got you like 5 different dinosaurs, like like then Rainbow Friends, then this, then Sonic. He's got like all the characters of Sonic, and like it's not like they're teddy bears and like bunnies and stuff like that. Like they're so yeah, it was just. But we survive it. We go on. We still love them. We will, he'll get a stuffed animal at some point, and then he'll hate that stuffed animal next year.
The stuffed animals are definitely like whenever we come to beach time, like when we go to the beach in the summer for like a week as like the larger vacation with the family. There's the boardwalk, and like the boardwalk is always going to, be something where we have to navigate the stuffed animal question, like because we want to play games, but then we come home with like 7 stuffed animals, And I think it's one of those things where we always try to, talk about abundance. We try to talk about, gratitude and sharing and, not, keeping desires a little bit more tempered. And so it's hard. Stuffed animals are tough because our kids connect with them so quick, especially as they're kind of young. I loved stuffed animals as a kid. Like I think until I was even like too old for it at a certain point too. But it's my thing. I remember the last stuffed animal I ever got was it was like a life-size Wile E. Coyote. And I remember when I got it as a gift because I had asked for it. And then I remember getting it and being like, I think I'm too old to have this right now. That's okay. Like I remember that moment. I forget what age it was. I remember the birthday it was. I remember where we were eating. It was like this like Chinese restaurant that we always thought was just like a front for a drug cartel. And then anyway, that's what I always thought. But we come back to that reading. You can survive anything. Ryan Holiday uses the idea of like COVID-19. And I think that we kind of wonder if we are doing enough. And I think that we are. I mean, when it comes down to it, especially as parents and especially as like dads, what we kind of see sometimes, I'm like, okay, as long as we definitely are there to listen and kind of, be in that space and then leave space for our kids to feel loved, I think it's definitely the most important thing. Is there anything else besides COVID that you really had to overcome, Dom? And I'd also love to know, because I think sometimes like, our amazing people down in Australia too. I know like, Craig went through a horrific situation in his life with his daughter, overcoming that, with his other kids and needing to kind of remain there, the idea of just like COVID here, or maybe a sickness for a child, or, financial challenges, all that kind of stuff. Is there anything in particular that you had to really kind of fight through?
I wouldn't say anything that felt like a fight or like a battle or anything like, that I survived. I feel like it's just, what's the thing, like death by a thousand bites or something like that. It's just like little tiny things. Like it's just, because we've gone through like eye surgeries with Brooklyn. Like Bailey's birth was very tough for us. Amy and I, go back and forth with some marital problems, moving to a completely different town, not knowing anyone. Like we did go through COVID. So like Bailey missed like, the transition from regular school or elementary school to middle school was during her COVID. Death of one of our neighbors, like kind of like rocked Brooklyn a little bit. Losing grandparents, like stuff like that, but like nothing. I wouldn't say anything like that was like like where I was like, oh, I can't believe we like survived that. Like it's all kind of been a little normal, in my opinion. Like nothing too out there.
Yeah, I mean, with all of that, it's I'm not thinking. I mean, there's obvious. I think there's the marriage challenges. I think sometimes just like even living in this urban environment in Brooklyn just feels like day-to-day survival, at least to me sometimes. And so it, those things be like, man, if I can be here with my girls and give them the attention they need, and they can feel loved and they can feel cared for, like I really feel like I could survive anything. So I feel like we could move anywhere with our girls and still be able to give that. I feel like, with I think that's the thing that I'm struggling with. There's a little bit where I feel like I definitely could take on almost anything, right? And we can get through anything. Like COVID was probably the hardest thing there. I don't feel as if I couldn't get through it all. And is there proof here? I almost feel, where's my head going with this? It's a little bit of a challenge, even with like survivor's guilt, maybe. Is that the closest example I can think of? Or if it's something else, like I didn't go through enough. I didn't go through enough hardships. We had rather, healthful pregnancies, and I'm sure my wife could probably talk through other points within that. I feel like we've not sat ever without like a job or being able to create income. And so it's a little bit of a, I almost feel fraudulent in a way, like, did I go through enough? And so it's almost on the other side of it, which is hard for me to kind of accept, but I think it's important. I know even like MP over here, like I think about these things, maybe it's the gratitude that I just need from this, right? Oldest born a month and a half early and spent 5 days in the NICU. Like that is something that I'm like, well, we didn't ever have to do that. So I feel incredibly grateful for it. Could I get through that? Yeah, I definitely think I could.
Yeah, that's what I was typing it, but that's actually our story too. Is Bailey was born like 2.5 months early, 3 months early, or something like that. Like she had a September due date, but she was born in July on my wife's birthday, so they share a birthday. And she spent 100 days in the NICU and came home like 2 days before my birthday, and it was a wild ride.
Wow. Man, like that, like your story there, you forgot about it, or it wasn't the first thing that came up when we started talking about this. That's pretty amazing for me to think about. Like you didn't have that ready to go in your head because you either dissociated from it because it was a negative memory or whatever it really was. And I think
It
that
was just so long ago. Yeah, it was
Sure.
just so long, 16 years ago.
It's still something though that I think we have to think back to. Like, what did we go? What have we gone through? Even COVID. I think back now, and I'm like, my gosh, what a crazy time. But if we really rewound the clock a little bit and like we were in that moment, there were some really hard days, like emotionally, physically, everything. But again, even you, 100 days in the NICU, that didn't even come to your mind right away. And I'm only saying that because I'm like, man, if I needed someone to like fall back on that I think was resilient, like you and your wife, you and Amy would be amazing to kind of talk to you about that.
And before that, my wife was on bed rest for 8 weeks, like prior to that.
Wow.
So she was locked in the hospital for 8 weeks, and then the kid was locked in the hospital for 100 days. And for almost all of them, I was driving back and forth for the hospital, and then eventually my wife and I together. But yeah, it was definitely a birth story. It's a long one, but yeah, it's out there.
I think this is one of those what was it yesterday? Let them know about your battles.
Yeah.
If we don't think about these things and actually share them, our kids might not know how resilient we can be as parents. Not that they need to, like they don't need to know that. But I think we can forget about it so much. And I think that if we don't bring these things up and show them that like life is not fair in so many ways, but you can definitely get through it. Like sharing that story is huge. MP, you sharing that story would be amazing as well. Jason, I know you have stories to share. David, I'm sure you have many stories to share just because of you just have those older kids. Robbie, I know you have, things to share. Brofit, my gosh, like your story right now. Like I definitely know that you would have things to share, but I'm just so curious about how we take these moments almost for granted. Be like, I got through it. I guess it wasn't that hard or it wasn't that important. We almost tamp it down and then we don't become resilient ourselves in a way. That's my thought. I just want to say we have to take a moment and just realize how amazing we actually are. Good job, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I think in those moments too, did you need help in that moment?
Oh, we had so much help. We were very early in our relationship, but we were very we were all about informing our family and friends on what was going on. So everyone knew, like we had a whole like social circle, like we had support, like people dropping stuff off, people visiting. I was able to like work for an old friend of mine. I think I've referenced him before, but like remotely. So like he gave me like a temporary job to work remotely so I could do it from like the hospital bed.
Wow.
And it was, the staff at the hospitals, I remember just being really, really amazing and treated me like because I was basically like a long-term guest there almost. Kind of we had free range of like what we needed to do, like hours coming in and out, stuff like that. So yeah, it was definitely rough. And unlike any experience, we were like both very young. Like I said, I turned 41 like last week, and I have a 16-year-old, so is that like 25 or something like that?
Mhm.
And Amy was 23 or 22. We had only been
wow.
dating for about a year, so it was super, super like right into it, real early, real fast.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you know to ask for help at that time, or you just given help?
Yeah, I think it was just given. Like I said, we just like we had like I don't remember if it was Facebook or if it was email, but like we would just blast everyone in our family and friend circle like email updates. So like when I'd be working remotely from a laptop, we would just blast an email update of like, this is what's going on, da 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 da, and like so we would just get an outpour of like responses and well wishes and people bringing ice cream and like all that kind of stuff. So
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think it's I think that I think our resilience is a product of everyone, the circles that we kind of create around us. And so, I'm sure a lot of what you did even before that moment really kind of helped solidify all that help, which is definitely good. But yeah, I think sharing these struggles, making sure we remember that we really can kind of overcome anything. And yes, COVID was definitely a hard time. So I want to just make sure we keep sharing all those hardships. I think it's going to be important. So I always hope people can kind of come here and give that, because I think that we're all going to connect with it. Usually, if you guys share a story, if anyone shares a story, I've always learned this on any stage that I've ever talked on, and I've always said that whoever is sitting out there right now, if you have a question or a statement or a thought or a feeling, there's going to be 6 or 7 other people that have that same thing right now, but don't think that anyone else does, and then they're afraid to actually say it. And look, even David connected with your story. MP connected with your story, but without talking about it, we're not going to be there. So,
yeah, yep. No, I definitely agree. Like the more you put out there, the more you'll find people that connect or feel the same way or have gone through a similar situation. And that's the good things about stuff like this, and all the stuff that's been happening on Twitter and in the VeeDads friends community. That's why I love it so much. Like I find common ground with a lot of people that I never thought I would, just by putting stuff out there or just by looking at the stuff that they put out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, that's it time right now. I like it. A short little meditation today.
Yeah.
We got that going on, and good stuff, man. Any last words?
Oh man, have a good day. Have a good Monday,
You too, man.
everybody.
I hope everyone does too. Gratitude, hearts, coffee, guys. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
See you guys.